What is up? What is up? What is up? I'm your host, Aaron Lloyd, and this is episode 45 of the Creation Grounds. 4 or 5, y'all. This next guest is super talented. He knows his stuff. He helps artists with contracts, understanding contracts. He merges or kind of marries the business aspect of the arts to the artistic side of the arts. So his name is Khalid Rivera, and in this episode we talk about his early Broadway success. This man was on stage with Julie Taymor at the age of 12, early Broadway success, and then also how he understands entertainment contracts and he shares that knowledge with you. In this episode, we talk about his experience working with Julie Taymor in her Broadway show, his favorite stage memory, what he finds more fulfilling, his music or acting, his process of songwriting, and 3 tips or several tips that artists can use to understand contracts and to empower themselves when it comes to the business aspect of the entertainment industry. Enjoy this episode with Khalid Rivera, and like, share, subscribe with everybody that you know that will gather some value from this episode, be entertained by, educated, and all that. Here we go. I have with me the fabulous Khalid Rivera. What's up, Khalid?
Hello, good afternoon. Glad to be doing this.
I'm happy to have you, man. How would you say that growing up as a native New Yorker impacted your life?
Oh, man. First of all, it's a true blessing for me to have, grown up in New York because it made me tough. Definitely thick-skinned to survive in this business because it's not an easy business.
Facts.
And definitely because of that, I feel like I'm able to thrive as an adult in this crazy world that we live in. I've been, growing up in New York, you're exposed to all different types of cultures, and therefore I'm comfortable with diversity.
That's beautiful. What's your earliest memory of performing?
Oh, it all started singing in the church choir. Back when I was living in the Bronx. Yep, just singing in the church choir, man.
I think Beyonce started that way too, didn't she?
Yeah, a lot of people, yeah. It seems like a lot, it started in the church.
That's cool. And when did you know, how old were you when you did that? How old was that, would you say?
I started in the church choir when I was 6 years old.
6. So was it around 6 years old that you knew you wanted to build a life in entertainment, or when did that start for you?
That started, I would say, definitely when I did my first Broadway show. It's called Juan Darien, and at that time it was at the Vimian Beaumont Theater. That's when I knew after doing that, I was just like, okay, I think this is something that I want to take seriously and probably pursue.
That's dope. So you were pretty young when you found your early Broadway success. Was that the one where you working with Julie Taymor, that show?
Yeah, I got that when I was 12. That was my first ever showbiz entertainment job, first professional job, and yeah, that was a great experience. And yeah, I worked with Julie Taymor. That's when I knew that I wanted to do it, and it was a great experience because definitely she was really kind, patient, and she was open to the rehearsal process being a collaborative effort with the entire cast.
That's dope, man. So bring me back. So you're 12 years old. Did you ask to audition, or how did that audition come about?
Yeah, so somebody told my mom about it because they back then backstage they had the actual newspaper at that time, and it was okay, if you wanted to audition you had to look at all that stuff, and then somebody told her that they were looking for a boy soprano, Hispanic boy soprano, and that they were doing open calls at Lincoln Center. So I went, I did that several auditions, and then I made it to the very end, and then it was me and another guy that we alternated the lead role, which was Juan Darien. Yeah.
That's dope, man. So 12 years old, Broadway, working with Julie Taymor, who's a beast. If you don't know Julie Taymor, man, she's just a creative giant. She's awesome.
Yeah, just Google her, people. IMDb her. You'll see she's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, in the theater and film. So that's a beautiful start to your career. So what's your favorite onstage memory? Could be with Julie, could be in general.
I'm gonna say there's so many, but I'm gonna say the most recent thing. playing the role of Richie Valens in the Buddy Holly Story musical. Now, I've done the show twice. The first time I did it was back in 2010 at the Iverton Playhouse in Connecticut, and then last year, like literally around the same time last year, I did it again at the Fireside Theater in Wisconsin, and that time it was really special. Well, first, it's an honor to play a music icon, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fun to be able to sing La Bamba. But that time, that cast was just on another level. It was an extremely talented cast. It was a great bond, and just that theater was extremely special. Like how it was set up, and yeah, it just felt more magical that time. That I said, you know what, this is the second time I've done it, and I think this is great to end it on that note as far as like continue to do the role because look, in theaters there's some people that they end up doing the show the same role like several times, like people who do Rent, they just keep doing the show Rent all over the place, or people who do In the Heights, they can do it like 5-6 times in different theaters. I said, I'm sorry, that's not me. I think the fact that I did it like twice and then to end it on such a high note with this amazing production,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, yeah, I think this is like perfect to just like, okay, put my hat off and just like, yep, all right, I did this role twice, and this is a great way to end it.
That's dope. And what do you? So you're a singer, actor, you many talents. What do you find more fulfilling? Do you find your music or your acting more fulfilling, and why?
Um, okay, well, to music, I mean, who doesn't love music? Music for me is more of a spiritual thing to just get me in the mood, whether I need to calm down or be hyped for anything. But what's fulfilling for me as an artist definitely is acting because you get to play different characters. It's playtime, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
That's dope. And what's your process of writing a song like? What are the challenges that come up for you?
Okay, so a lot of the times, well, first of all, I have to be, inspired, to write the songs. I think if you're forced to write, you're not gonna come out with your best work, and you're not gonna really be in the mood. You're not gonna feel it. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll come up with a melody in my head, and then before I forget it, like I'll just take my phone out and I'll record it quickly. Then I'll go home, I'll listen to it again, and then there's different software that you can use to make music, whether it's GarageBand or Pro Tools or Fruity Loops. So I'll use that and I'll like create the bass line, a basic bass line of a track. And then from there, I'll try to, finish the melody and the vocal lines of the song. And then I'll come up with the lyrics and then I'll enhance like the track, add more to that demo track to then give to the producer so that they kind of know where I'm going, to enhance the track and then, record it and, take it from there. And I think the challenging part with songwriting is when you're not feeling inspired to write anything.
Yeah. And we're gonna kind of pivot because recently, or I don't know how long you've been doing this, but you're really educated in contracts, entertainment contracts. Where
Yeah.
where did that interest come from for you? Why contracts?
I've always been interested in contracts because I just think it's important and essential. It's part of the business and it's a must, and you gotta be business savvy. Try to be in control.
Dope. And what are three tips for creatives? Because I know a lot of creatives, and this might be a generalization, but typically artists aren't so savvy with contracts. So, what are three tips that you can give creatives about contracts?
Yeah, that's very true. What you said that they're not savvy about contracts, and it's mainly because in these universities or these conservatories, they're not teaching students about the business side of things. They're not teaching about contracts. I was fortunate where I had a lot of training with, Stella Adler and AMDA and different places. But when I went to AMDA at the time, AMDA, it was a 2-year conservatory, but they had a joint program with the New School, also known as New School University in New York, that I could do 2 years at AMDA, and then from there I can continue at New School with my AMDA credits alone. I would already be going in as a junior, and then those last years I would take a whole bunch of academic classes. In New School, they had a lot of amazing business classes, but a lot of entertainment law and music business classes. So all those last 2 years, I just took a lot of business classes, and then from there in that school, there were actually several classes and courses to teach you about contracts, about different kinds of contracts, and like actually go over what it means. And I've never seen that before anywhere. And I thought, you know what, this, because I like to think ahead, and I'm not one to like to be a follower because everyone does it, just do it. And I was like, no, I know this is going to be extremely beneficial for me, and I know I'm going to be one of the very few people that gets their bachelor's, their BFA, bachelor's in fine arts, that actually knows about contracts, and it's not just about craft. So that was a true blessing to be able to get that training and that depth of knowledge. So I think the three most important tips, I might give you more than three, but please don't be desperate. People, just because somebody gives you a contract doesn't mean it's a great contract. And just because somebody gives you a contract doesn't mean that contract is going to be in your favor. I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but newsflash, I would say like 8 to 9 times out of 10, when a contract is being given to you, the contract is going to be in favor of the person who created the contract. That is just business, y'all. They got to protect themselves, first and foremost. It's going to be in their favor. It's business. Now, I would say other tips, just read it over. Even though if you think you don't understand contracts, read it over once or twice, and you'll be surprised that you might have some sort of understanding of the contracts. I know it can be a bit overwhelming to look at something like that, but read it over, try to understand it, and then based on what you know, you give it to somebody to help you understand it even more, and then maybe it depends on what the person does. Maybe they can possibly negotiate for you or not, or kind of tell you like recommended changes to put in the contract, or just put in layman terms what the contract means. And please don't rush to sign the contract. Give it some time. Tell them, listen, I'm gonna give this to somebody to look it over. Give me, I don't know, just say like 48 hours, and maybe it might take longer. Just don't rush into signing a contract. And please, I don't care, no matter what, how great the meeting was or whatever, never sign on the spot. Never, never, never. Or don't do any handshake agreements. Everything has to be in writing. Everything.
That's dope, and that's a great point. I mean, even on set, sometimes they'll bring the contract to you. So in circumstances like that, and I mean, if you have a rep, usually the rep does this prior. But that's a great tip you brought with like the desperation. Like, what would you say to that person that's in an agent meeting? They've been looking for an agent for the longest, and the agent says, "Hey, here's this contract." You still advise them not to sign that right there.
Don't sign on the spot. No, they said, "Thank you so much. I will look this over, and I will have somebody look it over for me. And if I have any questions, I'll get back to you."
Dope.
Because you got to show them that you are business savvy and you are in control. You're in the business. You're not desperate. And in these agent interviews, the agent is not interviewing you. You're interviewing the agent. I can't tell you how many times, like throughout my career, I've had meetings with agents. I was just like, you know what, I'm not feeling this. I go with my instincts, and my instincts are never wrong. I'm like, you know what, I'm not feeling this, and I don't think they're gonna get me. So I wouldn't, I just didn't sign. I didn't move forward.
I feel that.
And then I find out that, yep, I did make the right decision. Yep. You find out things.
So what is an example of where knowing that contract has benefited your career particularly?
Well, definitely I prevented myself from signing, bad contracts, whether it was shitty publishing deals or music management contracts or even contracts that they were like low pay or no protection, contracts, for the actors. This is like union stuff as well. It sucks that I see this a lot, especially with non-union contracts. Just because something is non-union doesn't mean it has to be bad. I don't know why these non-union contracts are so shitty, and it just seems they don't value their actors enough. It just seems like you're just a number, do this, whatever. Oh, you guys are going to do it because you need us. And you can still provide, protection for the actor. Just because something is non-union, you can still like have your shit together and make it professional and protection, for the actors.
Yeah. What inspires you? It could be just in life or as an artist? What do you find inspires you? I think you kind of hinted
Uh,
at it earlier. You said music. Music kind of makes you
yeah,
hype.
but on a bigger, like the bigger picture, the future always inspires me because it's like you never know what's gonna happen next. It's like you gotta keep going, keep moving forward, work hard, and be productive, and then just know like what's next. Because to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, in a sense, it does matter what I've done, but I never feel like, oh, I've arrived or I'm at a level or I get, like I like to say, like gassed up in the head.
Hmm.
I'm always like, okay, I accomplished this. Okay, what's next? It's like, just keep going, keep going. So the future inspires me.
I love that. And what's the top book that you've gifted the most in the past year?
Like that I gave a book to somebody or
Yeah.
that somebody gave. Okay, well, I've never given a book to anybody.
Have you given any book recommendations to anybody?
Um. Okay. Well, everyone's telling me about this Mariah Carey book, which I requested that for a Christmas gift, and my friend is supposed to get it for me. So I would probably recommend that most to people. But on a real bigger picture, y'all, I always say, listen, read the Bible, read that Bible, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Love that. And what's the best $100 that you've ever spent in your whole life?
Um, I would say even just recently, but in general, like, just getting a facial, getting a really good facial. And it's important for us actors and performers. We're on screen, the camera's on us. So why not make yourself look good,
Yep.
Make sure that your skin is healthy. So yeah, getting a facial, you gotta treat yourself.
I feel that. What are some projects that you have going on in the film circuit right now? Because I know you have a project currently revolving in that circuit. Tell us a little bit about that project and what.
Yeah, there's two right now. So there's Milk Water, and that one is with it's starring Molly Bernard, Patrick Green, and Robin De Jesus. I have a supporting role where my character's name is Jesus. The gay, sassy Puerto Rican bartender, not much of a stretch. And it takes place in New York City. It was shot in Brooklyn, and it's about this female, quite, troubled in her own ways, which is trying to navigate her life of what she wants to do, and then she meets this older gay man, and who she just barely knows, but they create a bond, and then she decides that she wants to become a surrogate for him, and then that whole process of like the ups and downs of that. So it's a beautiful. I would say it's a dramedy. There's some comedy and dramedy, but it's a great love letter to New York City. And that one, it's been in so many film festivals, and it's been winning a lot of awards, like best narrative feature, or best jury prize, or best audience award, and it's been doing really well in the film circuit this year. Then there's another film that is just now starting to circulate in the film festival. It's called The Alliance, and that one is a comedy, and it's about sexual harassment in the workplace. And my character, I have a supporting role. My character's name is Sebastian, and I'm a paralegal. And it recently premiered at the New Voices, New Film Festival, and I think it got into the Big Apple Film Festival. Like, it's now getting into the film festival circuit, and yeah, those are the two things right now out and about in the film festivals.
That's dope. And you alluded to this earlier about like always thinking what's next, what's next for you in life. What are you looking forward to most in life right now?
Well, right now, immediately, I'm just looking forward to the holiday season. I had a great Thanksgiving, got to see my family, and yeah, just to be able to see my family and then friends if I can, if they're in town or not. Even just doing like a Zoom or something, just spending time with family. And around this time of year, like I kind of like spiritually and mentally kind of like just take a step back and kind of like chill, because everything slows down a bit, like in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, okay, just kind of chill, relax. This is when I do more like time of extra reading, and yeah, just relax and take it easy, because we all know, like, come January, to like March or even April, like it gets a little bit busy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whether with pilot season or the theater season coming back. I don't know how it's going to be this year, but usually those are like busy times. So I take this time to just, you know, relax and see family.
That's
And
dope.
y'all can still listen. Y'all can still see your family. Just, you know, limit the amount of people that are in the space. You know, and then just, you know, be safe, get tested. That whole thing of like, oh, don't see your family at all. Please, you're not gonna tell me how to live my life or or to see my loved ones or not. Just be responsible.
Yeah. When you think, I ask all my guests this, when you think of the word creative, who's the first person that comes to mind and why?
Oh, right off the bat, I'll say Lady Gaga because she's constantly reinventing herself. She's super talented and she reinvents herself with her style and then her music. And now she's an amazing actress. It's like, what
Oscar
can she
winner,
do?
right?
You know,
She won an Oscar, didn't
like
she?
she won an Oscar for the song "Shallow." She was nominated for Best Actress, but and I know now she's gonna do another movie where she's playing some. I forget the name, but it's based on a true story. It's like some Italian like mob wife or something like. So yeah, she, you know, she dances, she sings, she acts, she plays instruments, and I'm like, what can she do? She's extremely creative.
That's dope. And you currently help artists or creatives with contracts. How can they contact you? How do they find out more about that? How can they receive your help or services with that?
Yeah, sure. The easiest way is just, you know, to email me and then I can explain people like, you know, what I do, my process, my prices based on the services that are needed. So yeah, you can just email me, which is gonna be my first and last name. I'll spell it for you. It's KHAL as in Larry, ID as in David, RIV as in Victor, E as in Eric, ra@gmail.com. So that's Khalid Rivera at gmail.com.
Is there a period in between Khalid and Rivera? Or is it just.
No.
Okay,
No,
cool.
it's just, yeah, one word, Khalid Rivera at gmail.com. I make it real easy. I'm like, listen, that's my email. Y'all can find me. What, like, yeah, it's there.
Dope. And social media handles, where can people connect with you, find out what you're doing in your artistic career? I know I kind of actually wanted to get into like the song. You have like a number one, like you've created some pretty dope tracks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So social media, you can just find me at Khalid Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
It's my first and last name. Yeah, and that's all across with, you know, Twitter, Insta, Facebook. Yeah, just at Khalid Rivera.
Dope. Cool. Well, Khalid, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. I know you're going to get your workout in and all that kind of stuff. And I hope that you help a lot of artists with their contracts.
I hope so. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.